Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Skip tells us why the Tony Romo rumors are officially over. Shannon believes his ATL neighbor Matt Ryan will and should win the MVP. Former NFL GM Michael Lombardi breaks down why the New England Patriots will play this next game against my Dolphins as hard as any. Skip and Shannon take different sides over the officiating in the Warriors-Cavs Christmas Day game. Plus, Rob Parker and former NFL coach Eric Mangini join the debate to predict who will win the NFC North on Sunday night. Shannon, are you ready for it?
Don't you say it, Skip.
You know, I don't have much to say today, except, how about them Cowboys? How about that 13-2? How about Dak Prescott for MVP? How about that, Shannon Sharpe? Welcome back.
How not? Come on, Joy.
Now, on with the show.
Let's get it started with the Cowboys. The Skip's Cowboys. Dallas clinched home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs before they kicked off last night, but they still played all their starters and beat the Lions 42-21. Dak Prescott threw 3 touchdown passes. Des Bryant added his own touchdown pass to Jason Witten, and Ezekiel Elliott ran for 2 touchdowns, including a 55-yard run. And maybe most importantly, there was no Tony Romo in the game. Skip, how big was this for Dallas?
I could have caught one of those touchdowns. I'm not going to say which one.
Do you want to go first?
No.
You go first. I'll listen. I'll listen. I'm okay.
Nope.
I'm good today.
I want you to have your moment.
I'm real good today.
Go ahead.
I feel better than I have all year. Joy, I'm going to answer your question. Last night was huge on so many levels for my Dallas Cowboys. In fact, just silly me over here, I'm going to make the case that was as important a win as my Cowboys have had all season long. I kept hearing all day before last night's game, oh, they don't really need this one. And I kept thinking, yeah, they really, really do need this one to maintain momentum, to continue to keep their edge, to avoid losing that edge with obviously one more game to go and then a whole week off before the first game all year that really, really counts. They needed to stay hot last night, and it was mission accomplished. That was a tour de force on every level of the football team. And as Joy pointed out, the main thing that happened was what did not happen. There was no Tony Romo from start to finish. Thank you, Jerry Jones. I don't know if I should be thanking Stephen Jones for talking you off the ledge, or Jason Garrett for talking you off the ledge, or maybe your old friend Larry Lacewell for pulling you aside and saying, Jerry, let's think this one through this time. We don't need no Romo this time. And
he might be saving it for a rainy day.
Yeah, he may be saving it for like next year, because I was convinced, my deepest, darkest fear was that Jerry Jones would interfere in order that Tony Romo played the second half last night in order to prepare him for his return to the starting lineup for the first playoff game. And obviously, Tony Romo did not play a single snap last night. And then Jerry Jones said after the game, he has no plans for Romo to play at all at Philadelphia. Out of sight, out of mind, problem avoided and averted. Which brings me to the other big development of the night, which was a very positive development. Des Bryant looked like throw up the X-Des from 2014. He was finally back, and he looked healthy, and he looked fast, and he looked content to be just another very important cog in the Dak attack. Because he only got 5 targets last night, but he caught 4 of them, and 2 of them were sensational. The spectacular one-hand grab in the back of the end zone, the first touchdown, and then the capping touchdown was the big, powerful back shoulder snatch at the goal line. And in between those, of course, they ran a little trick play, and he threw a touchdown pass. I didn't love it that they gave away the trick play, but maybe it'll keep defensive coordinators guessing about Dez throwing a left-handed touchdown pass on a reverse. Which brings me to my Cowboy defense, which drove me out of my mind for the first quarter and a half, because it came out and played the way I feared it would, which was, as you've been through this before in your playoff runs, it's a meaningless game. Let's just play not to get hurt tonight. And that's how they played for a quarter and a half, and they nearly turned somebody named Zach Zinner into a superstar for the first quarter and a half and dug themselves a 21-14 hole. And then all of a sudden, they got serious and they got mad, and they shut out the comeback king, Matthew Stafford, who's come back in 8 of their 9 wins in the fourth quarter this year, shut him out for the last 2.5 quarters. That was impressive to me, which brings me to my MVP of the league so far. It changed last night after he had a QBR of 94.
Really?
Dak Prescott. He threw the ball as dominantly as he has all year. I haven't seen that much velocity with that kind of accuracy, deadly accuracy, spreading the ball to 6 different receivers. And, of course, Zeke put the icing on top of my big cake last night with a 55-yard touchdown run in which he outsprinted a defensive back. What was not to like about last night? They are perfectly set up for their Super Bowl run now. They have to be feeling great about themselves, and Shannon Sharpe has to be feeling not so great about himself. The stage and floor is yours if you choose to take it.
Skip, you want to be playing well going into the playoffs, and you don't win as many games as they've won and not be a fairly good team. It's not an accident that they had won 11 of their first 13 games. Obviously, they're a very good team. They have the best offensive line in football. They have one of the two, I think the second best running back. I think Le'Veon Bell is a better all-around back than Zeke, but we'll debate that another day. Offensively, we know what they are. They're the number 4 total offense. They're the number 2 rushing offense, number 1 time of possession. We know what they are offensively, Skip. There was never a question about what and who they were offensively. I believe ultimately their undoing will be their defense. And they made a very because I think, if you look at the Lions offensively, and I know you say, the comeback kid, but let's be real. He's the second best quarterback in that division. He always has been. He always will be, as long as Aaron Rodgers still resides in Green Bay. So with that being said, and they were in first 3 drive skips, they go up and down the field. And I know you're banging the table, that defense. Shannon Sharpe's right. I hate when he's right. I hate when he's right. Because the Hall of Fame had pulled his credentials. He can't pick. He keeps picking against my Cowboys. This might be the next time that he's right again. Because I was right on Christmas, remember? We're going to talk about that later, Skip. But anyway.
I'm not sure you were right on Christmas. That's a whole nother issue we're going to debate in our B block today.
But let's be realistic.
Yep.
Let's be all the way 100.
Yep.
Every team that they could possibly face in the playoffs has a better quarterback, has a better offense than the Detroit Lions. You tell me Green Bay Packers offense is not better than Detroit's.
You sure they're not going to face Detroit?
I'm asking you a question, Skip, yes or no?
Well, how do you know it's not going to be Detroit in the playoffs?
Well,
I don't know that. Detroit has 1 home game for all the marbles, right? They have 1 game left at home.
I didn't ask you to ad-lib. I asked you
I'm not ad-libbing. I'm answering your question.
No, you didn't. I asked you, is Green Bay's offense better than Detroit's? That was a yes or no.
Is Theo Riddick going to play?
Skip!
I'm serious.
Why
He is
you-
really good.
Okay.
He's the spark plug of the offense. He couldn't go last
Okay, how
night.
about this here? Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons offense, is that better than Detroit's?
Yeah, I'll give you those guys for sure. Because Matt Ryan's playing at a much higher level than Aaron Rodgers is.
You a hater. You know what, Skip? Why do you do this?
Isn't Matt Ryan your MVP?
Yeah,
Of
he's your
course.
MVP. I'm giving you what you want.
You give me what I want when it serves your purpose because you want to take a swipe at Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I know what you did there, Skip.
Oh.
But if you look at
Jerry
Washington,
pointed it out,
if Green Bay is going to do what I think they're going to do, I said this 3 weeks ago when it came down to all the marbles, I'm pushing my chips behind Aaron Rodgers as opposed to Matthew Stafford. And again, they lose. Green Bay will win. Washington will win. And they will get the 6th seed with a little help. You keep saying, I want to see the Giants again. I want to see the Giants again.
I do.
Well, First Cousins told me he want to see you guys again.
Okay, that would be hard because it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
And because
We smoked him the second time.
after you missed 2 field goals, the guy missed 2 field goals.
We'll see.
Missed 2 field goals. See, I love how you see what you do, Skip. I see what you do right here.
Oh.
You talk about how, I want to see the Giants again because we should have won both of those ball games. but you marginalize how the Washington should have won both of those ball games. 2 of 6 in the red zone the first game. Yeah.
Yeah, who took the ball right down the field and stuck it right down their
But with
throat
that
to win
being-
the game? Dak Prescott did at Washington.
Detroit was really in control of this ball game. They got the ball in the third quarter, and what does Matthew Stafford do? He reverted back to her old self. The Matthew Stafford that we had thought had gone. He didn't have Megatron. He doesn't have to force the football. He could spread the ball around to Marvin Jones. He could spread the ball around to Golden Tate, Eric Ebron. And what does he do? He rolls to his left, throws back across his body, and pick, and everything went downhill.
Why
after
did he
that.
roll to his left? What happened?
He didn't have to roll. All he had to
Yes,
do
he
was
did.
step up in the pocket.
Nope.
Skip, watch the
He
tape.
got flushed. He got flushed because they were bringing the heat on Matt Stafford starting midway second quarter. They started throwing the house
All
at him.
he had to do was step up in the pocket. There was no reason for him to run. All he got to do is step. Where's he
No,
going?
He got flushed.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
And okay, Skip, all he had to do was step up in the pocket. It was 2nd and 21. Live to see another day. Don't make a bad play worse by doing something dumb.
Killed you, didn't it?
No.
Yeah.
No. Skip, I picked the Cowboys to win.
Yeah.
Did you actually think that I thought Matthew Stafford was going to go in there?
I don't know. We didn't pick it yesterday, so I
And
don't know what you
if
thought.
you notice, he hasn't been the same quarterback since he hurt that finger. Now, he can say he's playing okay, but that's not what his numbers bear out. That's not what the win-loss record bears out.
I would agree with that.
Go
Is that
ahead.
it?
No, that's it. But I hate why you do this. I ask you a simple question about Green Bay, and you're talking about how do you know they're going to win? You know they're going to win.
I don't know that they're
Are we
going to
bet a do on it?
Well, we'll see. We're going to get to that later in the show,
Okay.
right? In that setup. That's not what we're talking about right now.
So all the
we're
teams.
talking about the Dallas Cowboys, the number 1 seed in the NFC, the team clearly positioned to win 2 home games to get to the Super Bowl because the defense is ranked 4th in points allowed in the National Football League, number 1 against the run. They did not show up. I told you last night, and you know I'm right about this, because they thought they could mail this one in. They're playing not to get injured because they've never done this before, and it took them a quarter and a half to say, uh-oh, we better crank it up or we're going to get embarrassed, which they did. They got embarrassed for a quarter and a half in their own house. And then they rose and shone the way they have over the last 5 weeks in big stage, solo stage, game after game. And I don't know if you've noticed number 95 for my Dallas Cowboys.
Irving, yes.
Yeah, David Irving is emerging as a game-changing pass rusher. And I don't know if you noticed, but Randy Gregory was back last night. He got off to a little slow start. I think he had some conditioning problems. They said he might have pulled an oblique, and then he came back and started to flash on my TV screen in the second half, getting pressure on Matt Stafford. All of a sudden, my Cowboys have something they did not have for the first 10 or 12 games, a pass rush to go along with a pretty good secondary and the best defensive coordinator going right now in football. He should be the coordinator of the year, Rod Marinelli. So I've got it all going on all levels now. Because clearly, I think you would agree with me, the most difficult offense to defend in the NFL is Dallas's. Most difficult to defend overall.
Yeah, because they can run.
They can do it all.
But let me ask you a question. All things being equal, the Detroit Lions, Washington, Green Bay, Atlanta, Seattle, only the Giants of the possible teams that the Cowboys could face have a worse offense, have a better offense than Detroit. Washington is better.
Yeah, it's called the playoffs for a reason. It gets harder in the playoffs.
And we know what the Cowboys do come playoff time, Skip. Why are you under these grand illusions?
Wait, who knows what they do come playoff time? Has Dak Prescott been the playoff quarterback?
They're the Cowboys.
So Dak's going to turn back into Tony Romo in the playoffs?
The Cowboys.
Really?
The Cowboys will turn back into the Cowboys in the playoffs.
It's a new day and a new way, and it's a new age and a new quarterback. You know it, and I know it. He has changed life in Dallas, Texas. He has brought credibility and trustability to not only the offense, but the defense and the locker room. And why he is not an MVP candidate, we're going to talk about in a little bit, but it blows my mind. He's changed my life and the life of Cowboys Nation. Trust me, Dak Prescott.
I've seen this movie. Anytime I hear yippee-ki-yay and I see Bruce Willis, I know it's a Die Hard movie. Anytime it's the playoffs and a team from Dallas with a star on their helmet, I already know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I'm going to be saying to you, yippee-ki-yay, you know what? You know what? You know what the rest of it is, right?
So we already know how it's going to end, Skip.
Yeah.
I'm trying to prepare you because they say it's a little easier if you prepare for something. But since you're not preparing yourself, it's going to really, really hurt, Skip. And I don't want to see you hurt. I care for you.
What was not to like about what you saw in the big picture last night? Didn't it just horrify you? Because you saw a Super Bowl team last night. That's what you saw. Skip. You know it and I know it. It's okay. Just admit it.
Skip.
Just give in. Join us. Hop on the bandwagon. It could be a fun ride for you.
I've said it. How many times do I need to say it?
You could actually have a real
Atlanta,
a good ride.
Green Bay, and Seattle. Now, Dallas is right here. Atlanta, Green Bay, Seattle are like 2 centimeters behind them.
Oh, 2 centimeters.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll bring them all on. I don't care. Line them up. We'll play 4 playoff games if we have to get the Super Bowl.
You're not going.
We'll play double headers.
You're not going.
We'll play double headers at
We're
Jerry World.
going.
How about that?
You are enjoying the show.
Oh, okay.
We're going.
No.
But unfortunately,
you know what?
We're not.
I'm going to be driving a bandwagon all the way from Los Angeles, California to Houston, Texas. A bandwagon. And it's going to be metallic blue. And it's going to say Dallas Cowboys on the side. And I'm going to be up in the driver's seat. And if you want to come, I'll take you. I'll take you for free.
Nope. No.
I will.
The Cowboys.
Free ride.
Skip, this is going to hurt you so much because you're so heavily invested. You were on this. You saw this. You foretold of things to come. You foreshadowed this. Dak Prescott's going to fill in for Tony Romo. Now, you didn't think Dak was going to play as good.
Who did? But I told you in preseason, he looked like the real deal.
You did. And you said, hey, the Cowboys, and that's what's going to make it hurt so because you're so close. Can you imagine how many times I would have to pat you on the back if you were to get this right for the next year that you picked this in August, that you had the Cowboys and the Patriots in the Super Bowl? Do you know, my hands would be hurt patting Skip on the back. Didn't I tell you, Shannon? Didn't I tell you how about them Cowboys?
So you're really picking with your heart then.
Huh?
You're really picking with your heart then when you take Green Bay and
because
Seattle and
I think the undoing of the Cowboys team would be their defense because I think all the teams that I mentioned, offenses are way, way better than Detroit. Aaron Rodgers is head and shoulders above Matthew Stafford. Matt Ryan is playing he's my MVP pick. We know what Russell Wilson represents.
But are their defenses as good?
That's a great question.
Statistically, their defenses are better than Detroit's, I believe.
Okay, but who has the better defense, Dallas or Atlanta?
Dallas.
Okay, Dallas or Green Bay? Shannon,
you know what? On the turf, I'll say Dallas and Atlanta are a push because they both play on turf. I would give Dallas a slight advantage defensively. But I like what I've seen the last 2 weeks from Clay Matthews. He's letting that hair hang down. You can't see that. You can't see Matthews on the back of his jersey card, head alone. He's been using Head and Shoulders, I think. It's fluffy.
It looks good.
So they're ranked 22nd in points allowed, and Atlanta's 25th in points allowed. So
Atlanta's number 1 in points scored.
Oh, okay. But if they don't have the ball, how are they going to score the ball without possessing the ball?
Detroit had the ball 3 times and scored. First 3 possessions.
They did. I told you, my guys didn't show up. And then they decided, watch this. How many teams have shut out? How many teams have shut out Matt Stafford's offense for the last 2.5 quarters?
How many games have they won?
Check it out.
So a lot of teams have shut them out.
Yeah, they've won 9 games, just like Green Bay.
Green Bay is about to win 10.
Oh well, we'll see about that.
About to win. We'll be even. Come Monday, you and I'll be even. Balance will be paid in full.
You owe me back what I lost on Christmas Day, and we're about to talk about.
I don't know you.
You have to give it back now.
No way. No way.
You have to give it. That's our next. That's next up. Yes.
Well, the good news about last night is we did not see Tony Romo. And
that's good news?
Just as I think if you're a Cowboys fan, I think you like that.
You all happy. Look at you. You got your little Dolphins colors on around here, but that's okay.
Of course I'm happy.
It'll be short-lived. One and done for y'all,
You've been saying that all season. You know what? It's good. Like it's like this side of the table, we just like serving up crow for you.
I was in the band, but my producer said I was so good I need to be by myself.
You're off all bandwagon.
No mercy.
Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott each had big games for the Cowboys last night. Zeke ran for 2 more touchdowns, and Dak Prescott threw 3 touchdown passes in the win over Detroit. Skip, with 1 game left to play, who should be the NFL MVP?
I'm going to get this off my chest one last time. Dak Prescott had a 94 QBR. That's on scale of 0 to 100 last night, again, on the biggest stage in the sport, Monday Night Football. And he now vaulted back into the lead of all the quarterbacks in the NFL. He's number 1 in QBR, ahead of Tom Brady and ahead of Matt Ryan. That's pretty great. And just to sum this up and keep it in perspective for you, Dak Prescott has had to play quarterback on the biggest solo big stages in the sport over the last 5 games. This is a lot of pressure and a lot of spotlight for a rookie quarterback because remember, it started with Washington on Thanksgiving Day. That was actually sort of a night game in the Eastern time zone, certainly in Central. And then Thursday night at Minnesota, that crowd was out of its mind. Then a Sunday night game up at New York against your division rival and obviously New Jersey.
They lost.
Then Sunday night against the Bucks, and then Monday night against the Detroit Lions. That's a lot of big stage with Tony Romo looking over your shoulder and the owner continuing to chip away at your confidence by making public statements about how much he would love for Romo to be part of this Super Bowl run. And all this kid has done is he brought them from behind at Washington in Game 2 when they had gone 0-1. He played well enough to beat the Giants in the opener, but they're 0-1 and they're down 23-20, and he brings them back 27-23. Then he goes up and beats Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau. And then he goes to Pittsburgh and he outbins Ben Roethlisberger in the last 42 seconds with just a miraculous comeback. And then he comes back home and he's beaten team after he beat Kirk Cousins at home. He outdueled Jameis Winston at home. He threw for 300 yards against Baltimore at home. I could go on and on. He has had an amazing, astonishing year, turning the whole culture around in Dallas. He's gone 13-2 for a team that without Romo last year went 1-11. And yet he's not even in the MVP conversation because after last night, a tour de force performance by Dak and his offense, I think he's edged ahead of Tom Brady as the MVP at this point. Now, we got another game left for Tom Brady. Let's see how he plays at a place that he's had a hard time playing. He's lost 3 straight games at Miami. Let's see how he does there. But as of right now, after last night, I think Dak Prescott has edged ahead in the MVP case. And may I just get this also off my chest about Aaron Rodgers?
You got a lot of stuff on your chest today.
Aaron Rodgers is somehow getting credit now for how bad he was for the first 10 games. Am I right? He's terrible for 10 games. They're 4-6, yet he makes some statement about, I think we can run the table. He didn't say, I guarantee we're going to run the table. I think we can run the table. And somehow now he's vaulted in many people's eyes. Michael Lombardi here on Undisputed. We'll talk to Michael a little later. But Michael made the case that Aaron Rodgers is now the MVP. How exactly? Because he was so bad, now he's great, and the first 10 didn't really count? Is that how we're doing MVP this year? I don't get it, and I know you're going to make Matt Ryan's case all and make it quickly. He's lost 5 games. I mean, I'm sorry. He lost 5 games.
Why are you trying to rush me with my argument?
It's okay. Go ahead. Try.
I'm going to take, you like to do me, I'm going to take your points one at a time right here. In the Dak situation, Skip, at the end of the day, yeah, you want the player to win. But it's also about numbers. Dak is 16th in pass yards. He's tied for 13th in touchdown passes. He's tied for 19th in the ball 25-plus yards or more. See, he's not the reason they're winning. He's the main reason they're not losing.
QBR is just a silly stat.
See, and I knew you was going to do that. See, Skip Bayless like to do raw QBR numbers. I do total QBR numbers, which means like if you
always
whoa.
We've always done raw.
See,
the total gets adjusted. It doesn't work. You got to do the raw.
Oh, Skip.
But they'll tell you at ESPN you got to do the raw.
He won't let me talk.
Well, go ahead. You can try, but you're going to be wrong. If you want to be wrong, go ahead.
Skip does raw QBR numbers. I do total QBR numbers because they also adjust it because if you play a top 5, top 3, top 4 defense, you should be given credit because if you just look at quarterback rating, passer rating, Matt Ryan is 10 points ahead of Dak Prescott. He's 5 points ahead of Tom Brady. So just for that, Matt Ryan is also, he has the best offense. He's 34 touchdowns, 7 INTs. Dak is 23 and 4. Not bad numbers. But he's also, Matt Ryan is on pace to have the highest yards per attempt, 9.26, than Kurt Warner had in 1999 when he won the MVP. And many think the greatest statistical season was Aaron Rodgers in 2011 when he had 45 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And his season stacks up favorably to those. So right now, my MVP list goes like this. My neighbor from the ATL, Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, Zeke the Freak, Dak Prescott, Tom Brady.
So help me out here. Jameis Winston, did he win at Atlanta against Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. But he went to Dallas and he lost to Dak Prescott, right? And help me out here. Did the San Diego Chargers win at Atlanta?
Hold up. Does Matt Ryan play defense?
Did the San Diego
Did
Chargers?
the New York Giants? How many games have the
lost
Giants
to
won?
the San Diego Chargers?
How many
Really?
games have the Giants lost?
Has Dak Prescott lost to the Chargers? I don't
Y'all
think so.
lost to the Giants.
Yeah, twice by 1 point and by 3 points.
Hold on,
And
time
the
out.
second one was a wet ball game in which it was the only game Dak couldn't hold on to the football and grip it and throw it.
Was Eli throwing the ball from under the tunnel?
He made one good pass, and then right after the game, he volunteered to the media. The ball was impossible to throw. You even told me he threw
I didn't tell you nothing, Skip.
Yes, you did.
No, I
You
didn't.
said he threw one interception. You said, what was that all about?
Yeah, because I didn't know where he was throwing the ball. It wasn't because
he
it was
didn't
wet.
either, 'cause it slipped out of
No,
his
it didn't
hands.
slip out of his
Yeah,
hands.
and one time he did the empty ball throw where the ball went
So
backwards
I'm
out
trying
of his
to
hand.
I'm trying to see here because I played a number of years, and I beat a few teams by 25, 30, 34 points, and only got credit for one win. I've also won a game by 1 point and only got credit for one win. So what now? We get two. If you win by 10 or more, you get 2 wins. You win by 25 or more, you get 3 wins. I mean, how is this working, Skip? I need to know.
In relation to what?
Because you keep telling me the Giants won by 1 point and they won by 4 points.
Yeah.
Okay, what difference does it make? Did
It's
they
only
win?
2 losses. Dallas has 2 losses by 1 point and
To the
3
Giants.
points to the Giants.
Offense.
Wet ball game. First game a rookie had ever played in the NFL.
Whoa. No, Skip,
Bring
we're not
on
doing
the
that.
Giants. Please. I want them a third time.
We're not talking about the Giants.
Yeah.
We're talking about Matt
You
Ryan.
brought him up.
Matt Ryan. Gonna
He's
throw-
had a fantastic year.
And he's
but he
gonna
hadn't
be
done what
MVP.
Dak did.
What you mean?
Did Matt Ryan have an owner looking over his shoulder saying, we got to go with the backup quarterback here at some point. We got to get him back in the flow.
I happen to know Mr. Blank. I see him a lot of times jogging in the neighborhood. One time I stopped and asked him, did he want me to give him a ride? He's like, no, I got it, Shannon. No, he does not have that. Most owners tend to stay in the background because they don't want it to be about them.
Yeah.
Jerry wants it to be about him.
So who had the higher degree of difficulty, Dak Prescott or Matt Ryan?
Did you stick the landing?
I
Simone
asked you a
Biles.
question you didn't answer.
Simone Biles,
now
she won the
we
gold
went from
medal
my question
because
to
she
Simone Biles.
has a higher degree of
what?
difficulty,
You-
and she stuck the landing.
You can't answer it because it's obviously Dak Prescott.
Skip.
He beat the longest odds, the highest degree of difficulty maybe any quarterback has ever faced, certainly to get to 13-2. This
Matty
has never
Ice.
happened. Never
Matty
happened.
Ice. He got a cool name. You got the Dak Attack. What? Matty Ice.
That's cool.
And you got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Mr. Discount Double
Yeah.
Check himself.
Yeah. You know what?
You got Zeke the Freak.
One of these weeks, somebody's going to give Dak Prescott some respect.
And you got Tom, Mr.
Tom
Brady.
Tom?
Tom.
Yeah.
I got him filled.
Yeah.
People call him Tom Tom?
That's what I call him.
Okay.
I call him 4-time Super Bowl champion.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that
Matty Ice.
the reason that Dak is not getting the respect is because of Zeke. There's a bit of a distraction.
You know-
there.
you
You
know
were
what
talking
it
about
is?
it on Facebook Live last night that Dak should get some respect.
Yeah, but
and it
here's
is
the
crazy he
point.
hasn't earned it yet.
You on Facebook Live now?
He doesn't have charisma. He doesn't have a signature touchdown celebration. He never says anything outrageous
Answer me,
or
Skip
edgy.
Bayless. Are you on Facebook Live?
Yeah.
How many mediums are you going to get on? That's why you got all these followers.
The people want to hear from
You
Skip.
keep
They
politicking.
actually don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from Hazel.
Hazel's so cute.
Hazel's cute. You got to meet Hazel.
No.
She's
Hi,
so
Hazel.
little. You would love Hazel. You love dogs.
I
Hazel,
do.
Hazel barks at what you say on this show.
No, she
She
You know
does.
what?
She
I'm
does.
gonna bring my little
Honestly.
palms. They're
Yeah.
gonna
I don't
kidnap.
know.
They're gonna kidnap Hazel.
Hazel's tough. I
They
don't know
gonna
about
kidnap
that.
Hazel and hold her
She's
for
little.
ransom.
She's little, but she's tough.
No mercy.
The Patriots can clinch home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs if they win at the Dolphins on Sunday. In last year's regular season finale, the Patriots lost to the Dolphins 20-10 with a chance to clinch the top seed in the AFC. In that game, Tom Brady only threw 5 passes in the first half. We're joined once again by Michael Lombardi. Michael, you were working on the Patriots staff last season.
Yeah.
How different will this game be from last year?
Well, it's completely different because last year we weren't healthy. He threw 5 passes in the first half because we tried to keep him alive. The offensive line was really a mess, and actually he got dinged in the second half when we had to throw the ball with Olivier Vernon and
Wake.
Wake
was injured.
Wake was hurt
but
then,
Sue.
but Sue and all those guys, and it was a problem. To me, this game, I think the Patriots will play it seriously. I think the players that they have to rest that are hurt will certainly not play. But I think they'll take it seriously. I think Miami's the team that's not going to take it seriously. I think Pittsburgh's not going to take the Brown game seriously. They're talking about resting Ben Roethlisberger. They know they're the 3 seed. Miami knows they're the 6 seed. They can't improve on that. Well, there's some situations where they could, but it's kind of remote. I would suspect Miami would be the team that would lower and try to get themselves ready, a healthy team ready for Pittsburgh. Miami's depth isn't particularly great, so. But I think the Patriots are going to play this game as hard as they can. I think Brady will try to be sharp because fans don't understand when the teams that have the bye, it's a blessing in the sense that you get yourself healthy, but you have to give the players 4 days off. They have to be out of the building for 4 days by the collective bargaining agreement. So you really don't have much practice time, and you don't know who your opponent's going to be. So you need to have at least to have a freshness of your team before you send them on the way. And I think that this is the opportunity for the Patriots to do that. Plus, they want to finish strong.
They got to get 4 days off now in the bye week.
On the bye week, got to give them 4 days
Well,
off.
you missed that boat.
Yeah, I agree with you, Michael. It seems like last year they valued health over home field. This year they're valuing home field over health. And if you look at Tom Brady at home in the playoffs, 15-3. On the road, he's 3-4, and he's lost his last 3 road playoff games. So obviously they want you to come. They want the road to Houston to have to go through a detour through Foxborough, Massachusetts, out of your way. And the Dolphins, they're red hot. I mean, 1-9-10. Ajayi, he's feast or famine. He has 4 100-yard games. 3 of those have been over 200 yards. Now, mind you, he didn't start until late in the season once Arian Foster went down and then he retired, and they gave him the lion's share of the workload. But in him being able to run the football, it also took a lot of pressure off of Tannehill. Tannehill goes down. Matt Moore's looked really, really good. And so I think the Dolphins, you say they're not gonna play anybody, but for me, I've only been in a situation one time in all my years that the last game actually meant something, where we could move up. In 1993, we were playing the Raiders our last game. Whoever won that game would win the division, be home, and then the loser would have to go to that person's building. We lost in overtime, went back, and they beat us again. And so I like playing with something on the line. There are a lot of times that the coaches set me down because we couldn't move up or down. There was a couple of times that when I was in Denver, Mike only let us, play like a quarter. But I like playing because I want to play knowing that I'm going to get a bye. And, we didn't get 3 days off, but knowing that we were going to probably get Monday and Tuesday off, and then we're going to treat it like a normal week, go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a little bit Saturday, then you're off Sunday. So I would want to play, but you got to do what you feel is best for your team, because if you think a guy's slightly nicked, he's not playing. But if a guy can go, you play him.
So, Michael Lombardi.
Yeah.
I realize you work closely with Bill Belichick. You know him well. I still haven't gotten over how he coached those last 2 games last year. This is just me from a distance. I'm more of a Brady fan than a Patriot fan, but I did pick them last year, so I'm rooting for my pick. And you remember in the Jets game at the Jets, which was second to last game, they win the toss in overtime and obviously elect to give the ball to the Jets and take it out of Tom Brady's hands after he had just taken them down the field
That
to
was
tie the
confusing.
game and take them into overtime. I don't know. I just didn't get it. It's Tom Brady. It's just disrespectful to Tom, but I know Bill had his thoughts on it, his ideas.
Yeah, I think in that situation, we felt like we were playing, at that point of the game, we were playing good defense, and we could have gotten off the field. Tavon Austin, not Tavon Austin, but we missed.
Yeah.
We missed the tackle on the flat route on 3rd and 10, and we had a chance to get off the field. And
The Ivory?
No.
Quincy Enwa.
Enunwa.
Yeah.
Enunwa. I always mess that up. Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, so we missed that tackle, and then we go down to Miami, and we had to go down there early because the hockey game was playing at the stadium, and we had to get out of town early, and we went down there, and literally we could have filled up the inactive list with guys that were hurt. We did not have a lot of healthy bodies. We remember this now. We lost Vollmer in that game. He hurt himself. We didn't have a left tackle. Solder was out earlier in the game, so then we lose Vollmer. We were down to really no one in the offensive line. The offensive line wasn't playing well. And then when we did try to throw the ball in the second half, Brady almost got his knee blown out.
Hey, he got annihilated.
He got unbelievably hurt.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was a problem. And it was not as much as we didn't try to win. We just didn't have enough healthy bodies to win. And that was really a problem. And we tried to manage the game. That's why we only threw it 5 times, because we felt like if we couldn't establish a running game at the end of the season, then going into playoffs, we weren't going to be able to run the ball. And we just had signed Steven Jackson. We needed to try to get him some reps. So in a sense, we tried to play the game in a style that would reduce the game and help us win, and ultimately it didn't. And I think what we learned in that game was, if you can't run the ball, you're not going to be able to go anywhere.
Yeah, because in the first half they rushed 16 times for 47 yards, so that's 2.9.
We couldn't run the ball at all.
Not good.
And secondly, we had no health. Our team was just, and then we got healthy enough to play against the Chiefs. And then we had that one great moment against the Chiefs. And then the Thursday practice before we flew to Denver, it might have been the worst practice that I'd ever been a part of in my professional career. And that's saying something watching some of the Raider practices now. Okay, because we just didn't have enough healthy bodies. We couldn't get going, and it really was a problem. And I think what we learned walking off that field is we have to be able to peak at the right time and be healthy. And wherever you have to play, you have to play. I think that's why they're going to take this game a lot more seriously, because they need to have momentum going in there. And their teams, the team is peaking. The defense is, and I've been critical, they're playing way better than they have all season. And offensively, Deion Lewis is finally back to being Deion Lewis of old. Now he looks like he made a couple cuts in
catching.
He made a couple cuts in that Jet game that were really good. It looked like the Deion Lewis. So now Malcolm Mitchell's coming along. They got to get Michael Floyd going a little bit within the offense. There's a lot of working pieces that have to happen, and that's going to be the number one agenda going down there. Again, they'll go down early. It's Miami. We stayed.
I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it's cold weather to hot weather, or at least warm weather, but they've lost 3 straight there. The Dolphins always just play the heck out of them there.
It's a big game for the Dolphins, and you go down there, and you're not used to the heat and humidity. And
it's a big difference.
It's the same thing for them going to the cold. You're not used to it, and you go down there, and all of a sudden you get dehydrated quickly. And if you could see in that game, the fourth quarter, the Dolphins had taken over. 2 years ago, we opened the season up in Miami, and we had a lead at the half. And then the Dolphins eventually took the game over. That's what I think we don't always give enough credit for. The football is like a boxing match, and that second half is really about who's in condition, who can endure, and who can handle it. And I think the Patriots understand all those things now, and I think they'll try to play the game a lot different. I think Miami's the one that has to be careful. Parker, they need to keep him healthy. This Drake kid, they got to keep him healthy, because he gives them an element that can cause some problem for Pittsburgh. I mean, this game, when they play Pittsburgh's defense is, we talk about Dallas defense, New England defense, Atlanta defense. When you're talking about bad defenses, Pittsburgh's going to be at the top of the list now.
I agree.
Okay, so Miami's not going to be a pushover page for them when they go up there. I mean, Miami has, the number one thing you do when you play Miami is tackle the talent. They have a lot of talent, and they're hard to tackle. And you got to be able to do that with Drake now coming in the backfield, and then you have these receivers. I mean, they're a challenging offensive football team, and I think that if they're healthy, they can create some problems.
I keep telling Joy, I like Matt more than I like Tannehill. Just on keeping it on track, not doing the wrong thing.
Right.
He can be consistent.
Yeah.
You're like whispering sweet nothings in my ear right now. I'm trying to resist everything that you're saying.
Well,
my heart can't take it.
I think they are, and I think when you go back and watch the Buffalo game, I mean, look, their defense is. Look, they're going to have a problem against Pittsburgh because they're not physical with their front, especially at linebacker. When you look at Alonso, he looks like a strong safety playing middle linebacker. He's very light, and you get on him. But, they play and they make enough, they rally and they can rush the passer, and they can create some problems. And if they can turn the ball over, they can. But I think for the Patriots, this game's more about them than it is about the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Tom Brady has said publicly, pedal to the metal this time.
He is not, I'm telling you, you think he's preparing for the Super Bowl this week. I can promise you.
Well, the Raiders can steal the 1 seed away from the Patriots with the win over the Broncos, and the Patriots lost to the Dolphins, even though
the 1 seed Patriots.
Yeah, they haven't announced it. They announced the time for the game. That's going to be the interesting thing. If it's a 1 o'clock game, then the Raider game, and they win, then the Raider game won't matter in Denver.
Yeah. So Don't forget to check out Michael's Make Me Smarter Football podcast on iTunes. And thank you for joining us, Michael.
No mercy.
The NBA announced yesterday the refs made 2 mistakes in the final 2 minutes of the Cavs' win over the Warriors on Sunday. The NBA said LeBron James should have been assessed a technical foul for hanging on the rim after his dunk. And they also said Richard Jefferson made, quote, foot-to-foot contact with Kevin Durant on the final play.
Now playing footsies. Go ahead. How do you want to?
Yes, they do not approve of footsies.
Do it again, Uncle Rick.
Skip, are you surprised that the NBA admitted this?
I am not surprised at all. Those were 2 outrageous, uncalled calls that cost Golden State a chance to win the basketball game. And this is not 2020 hindsight from me, because I immediately tweeted my displeasure about both uncalled calls. Could we see my tweets, please, from Christmas Day afternoon? First one. Should be a technical foul on LeBron James for hanging that long on the rim and taunting. And then I came right back and said, of course, the refs would never have the guts to call that obvious technical foul on LeBron in Cleveland on Christmas. Was I right, NBA? Yes, the NBA says I was right. And then at the end of the game, I immediately tweeted, obvious foul on Richard Jefferson, but refs will never call that on LeBron's team in LeBron's house on Christmas Day.
Wow.
Am I right, NBA? Yes, NBA says I am right. Let me finish, please. I told you yesterday that Richard Jefferson, I told Jim Jackson, who sat right here, both disagreed with me, Shannon and Jim. I said Richard Jefferson's foot made contact with Kevin Durant's foot on that last play, and then Richard Jefferson proceeded to body foul Kevin Durant and send him sprawling across the floor. And of course, Kevin Durant said after the game, I fell, but I had help. And then what happened? Kevin Durant was not allowed to shoot the 2 free throws, and he would have needed 1 to tie and 1 to win, except he should have been given 1 free throw off the technical foul that wasn't called on LeBron for not just hanging on the rim, but swinging 3 times, taunting on the rim. Yeah. And Kevin Durant would have been the guy, I think, designated to shoot the tech at the other end.
Why?
That would have been because he's their best free throw shooter.
Hold on, Steph Curry shooting 94%.
Yeah,
KD is at shooting
KD's
86.
But he's the one who he shot the techs all day. He shot the previous techs.
Why not the 2-time MVP?
I don't know. He's got a Christmas Day slump going on. But I'm okay. Whoever shot it, doesn't matter. It would have impacted the final outcome because that was 1:43 left in the game, and that was a crucial point, was it not? Shannon Sharpe. So Kevin Durant would have had maybe 3 free throw attempts to win the game. The NBA says, oh, I'm right. They're saying, Shannon, you're wrong. And so you know what I want? I want my case of Propel back because I got robbed. Not only do I want my case back, I want an apology from you because you tried to shame me yesterday and tell me I didn't know what I was talking about when clearly the league backed me up and said, yes, he knows. They didn't actually say that to me, but they effectively said, yes, I know what I'm talking about. I have no idea how you're going to try to argue your way out of this one because you are trapped in a corner as usual.
First of all, like In Vogue says, that Propel, you're never going to get it, never going to get it, never going to.
Oh.
Second.
I hope we don't have to pay for that.
Second of
you
all.
get to pay for that one.
Second of all.
Yeah.
Why was that last tweet in all caps?
Because I was outraged, because it was such an obvious foul. It's a foul. You got to call it.
You know what?
Call it.
The NBA.
Call it.
Hold on now.
Come on, have the guts.
Skip, calm down. I mean, the veins, look at the veins all in his forehead,
You know,
Joy.
Upsetting.
You know what? You might have been reffing that game for all I know. Did you fly up there and ref on Christmas Day?
The NBA gave their findings yesterday.
He's like a Scooby-Doo villain.
Yeah.
So the NBA gave their findings.
That's good, Joy.
And, I went back and watched the tape. And I found a few things of my own I would like to discuss since the NBA.
So we're gonna try to distract the viewers from the obvious plays that actually.
You don't think the NBA watched all of the
They
tapes
just
also?
do the last 2 minutes because they know that's what really counts. Go ahead.
I let you talk. I didn't interrupt. I was over here so patient. Like my grandmother used to always, boy, when somebody else talking, you listen. Don't be interrupting them. And I didn't interrupt you, Skip.
Yeah, well.
Okay. NBA final two. Hold up. How long was the NBA game? 2 minutes or 48 minutes? Okay, but don't worry about that.
Skip just said they only give a 2-minute report.
Okay, fine. But how about Kevin Durant? missed his last 5 shots from the floor. Did the NBA mention that? No, but I did. I found that my tape study.
Is that an officiating issue?
Hold on, Skip.
I don't think I don't think it is somehow.
Skip,
Well,
when I ask you a question, just nod, okay?
Yeah.
The Golden State Warriors also had an opportunity to put the game away,
They sure did.
but they had a 24-shot clock violation.
They did.
Whose fault was that? Steph Curry only had 15 total points. And on the most important possession of the game, a guy that was, Steve Kerr said he was a great, last year he was great on-ball defender. Russell Westbrook almost came to blows when the reporter asked him, what about that defense Steph Curry's playing on you? A 2-time MVP got substituted.
He's 6'2".
Oh, Skip!
He's 6'2". Livingston's
I did
6'7".
Joy, can you ask Skip to let me talk? Healy, thank you. Draymond Green had 6 turnovers, 3 of them in the fourth quarter.
He sure did. I told you that yesterday.
But this is what I like the best. With a little under 10 minutes left in the ball game, the Golden State Warriors had a 14-point lead with 4 top 20 NBA players on the floor at once. Why should the NBA talk about all this? I'm surprised they blew a lead. Why are you so surprised Golden State blew? No, I'm not asking you right now. I'm talking theoretically and rhetorically. Why are you surprised that Golden State blew a 14-point lead when they blew a 3-1 lead? Because you know why? We have something in Cleveland. And I said we, the Cavaliers, hater, you a Heat fan. We have something in Cleveland that no other team has. Number 23.
Kyrie Irving. Oh.
Hold on.
I spoke. I'm sorry, I spoke. I couldn't help myself.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why was Kevin Durant taking the last shot and not the 2-time MVP? That's you. You go ahead.
You mean I get
That's not rhetorical.
Wait, I get to answer?
Why was KD taking the last shot and not the 2-time reigning MVP?
Because he's 7 feet tall and he had the second hottest hand on the floor to Klay Thompson's. I wanted Klay to take the shot, but for some reason
LeBron was on him.
Oh.
Know what? He wasn't getting no shot off. You know when LeBron gets on you and put that hawk.
Time out. Was on who? No, LeBron was on Kevin Durant to start the playing. Got picked. So it required Richard Jefferson to foul Kevin Durant to keep him, because Richard Jefferson's a shrewd operator, and he knew that those refs who just idolize LeBron the way you do, they probably all sleep in LeBron jammies just the way you do. They're not going to call that on anybody. You can tackle Kevin Durant, and he got tackled. You know what? I thought I was watching a football game. It was a tackle. It was a takedown. I was impressed.
This is what you tell me.
I deserve my case. Give it back.
LeBron is so great. He should be able to play through that contact. He's LeBron. He's the kind. Hey, LeBron James, you all said it all. It's all key. You enjoy here having a good old time when LeBron was having some misery.
Yeah.
But I keep telling you, he's the MVP. Hold on. LeBron didn't play last night.
I think it's about my turn to talk.
No.
You talk for 7 minutes. 7 minutes. It's a record on Undisputed how long you've talked. It's my turn. I get a little talk.
LeBron James.
Yeah. The thing about LeBron James was that he really didn't have to play the fourth quarter because he mostly watched Kyrie Irving take over the game from start of fourth quarter to the finish.
Like Steph Curry was doing?
He scored 14. He outplayed Steph, but he outplayed him last year in the finals. He made the shot of shots to win the game.
What about the block?
Because LeBron James cannot be even qualified as an all-time great, because the all-time greats don't need a closer. They close for themselves. Larry Bird would have closed that game for himself. Magic Johnson for himself. And dare I say, Michael Jordan for himself.
Oh, whoa, time out.
Is he going to say, you know what, Christmas Day, big stage, solo stage, everybody's watching us. Am I going to let Scottie Pippen close the game with 14 in the fourth? He's not going to do it. Would he allow Scottie Pippen to go solo one-on-one to try to score the last basket to win the game? No way. He'd say, no, it's my basketball to do. I'm going to initiate. If I want to tell Steve Kerr he's going to be wide open for a little 18-foot shot, I'll tell him. But no way should LeBron James let Kyrie Irving say, I'm going to dribble the ball up the floor and go one-on-one with a defender who is 4 inches taller and make a fadeaway jumper to win the basketball game. You're disqualified, LeBron James, from all-time greatness. You're not that guy.
Okay, Harry. Okay, first of all, what you don't see in that close-up is Steph Curry has his head down like this because he already know what's going to happen. He already know.
Kyrie, he got Kyrie'd.
Second of all, Scottie Pippen couldn't see Kyrie Irving's offensive skills with the Hubble telescope. You trying to say...
Don't tell Scottie Pippen that.
I tell Scottie Pippen to his face.
Well, I pretty much have, because I told him he's not a top 50 player, that Michael Jordan made him a top 50 player. I'm sorry, Scottie, I'm going to say it again.
Top 50.
He made me say it.
He did not have the offensive repertoire as a Kyrie Irving. Larry Bird never played with a player that has the offensive repertoire of a Kyrie Irving.
Thank you. Keep talking. Keep going.
Magic Johnson could dump the ball to the all-time leading scorer, the man that has more MVPs than anybody else in the history of the game, including Michael Jordan. The man has scored more points than anybody in the NBA, including Michael Jordan. So Magic could throw the ball to Kareem.
Magic always had the ball. He initiated. He controlled the game from start to finish.
You gonna let me talk? I'll let you talk.
I got to educate you on this stuff.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm in remedial, so I just keep repeating the same thing. Kyrie Irving and the Cavs are the champs, and they're going to be the champs again. Yeah. And you keep trying to marginalize LeBron James. He hit 4 3-pointers. Hold on,
you just told me how great Kyrie is, and I've been telling you how great he is. He's special, man.
He scored.
LeBron James should drop to his knees every night and say, "Thank you, God."
Skip, stop being ugly. You being ugly, Skip.
No,
now.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not. I'm telling you the truth.
LeBron James scored 16 points in the third quarter. 12 of those points came on 3-pointers. When the game was teetering, about to get out of hand, LeBron kept him in contact.
Not really. It got out of hand anyway. It was out of hand.
So you
They're
should be
14 down with 9.5.
So you should be appalled.
It's out of
hand, and the Cavaliers came back and won.
No, Kyrie said, "This is my house.
What about that dunk?
I refuse."
What about that dunk?
Who assisted the dunk? It was wide open. Kyrie assisted. LeBron had 2. He scored 4 points in the fourth quarter on 2 dunks assisted by Kyrie for set-up wide open.
And Kyrie had 2 points in the third quarter. So how are we gonna play this, Skip?
When the money was on the table, who do you want?
One to twin in the second half.
I told you yesterday,
one to twins. Activate.
I'm going to give you this. LeBron is Mr. Third Quarter. Kyrie is Mr. Fourth Quarter. You should accept it. You should embrace it.
You remember that cartoon, Joy? One to twins. Activate. Kyrie. In the form of, I'm about to go off. LeBron James, I'm finna dunk on Draymond and KD.
LeBron James, I'm going to watch you, Kyrie.
And he was up there. He called Uber and said, I hurt my foot stepping on Draymond and KD head, so I need an Uber Lux to pick me, Savannah, and the 3 kids up and drive me back to Akron. Boom!
Yeah.
Ooh, Skip, you mad.
He was watching out the back window as Kyrie made that shot.
Hold on. He didn't
even have to be on the floor for the last play.
Kyrie
he goes and stands in the corner.
You're right. You're right, Skip. You're right. Kyrie was driving. LeBron had his feet up in the catbird seat.
Yeah.
Where was Steph Curry? He missed the bus. He couldn't even get to the game. He missed the bus.
And without Steph Curry, the Warriors were up 14 with 9.5 minutes left and got robbed on 2 calls, or they should have won the basketball game anyway. Badly as they played.
They were up 3-1.
Wow.
What happened?
Draymond got suspended. That's what happened. And yesterday, Draymond went completely over the edge early in that game and should have been ejected.
That's what Bron do.
He was like screaming for ejection early. And then he came completely apart in the fourth quarter and threw 3 of the most incomprehensible passes. We'd say, what are you thinking? He's not thinking. He's lost control of himself in the fourth quarter. Draymond Green.
I've been giving LeBron pointers how to get in the guy's head. Couldn't nobody do it like me.
Boy,
and then LeBron, I said, LeBron, this is what you do. You talk to him, and then you step over the top of it, because that's so blatantly. And I want you to, like, when you step, see, you just can't step over him. You got to step over him and, like, wipe your feet. Say, take that.
The NBA says, I deserve my case of Propel back. They said it publicly. They announced, I deserve my case of Propel back. I was robbed.
If your MVP, 2-time MVP, had been on the court, if Kevin Durant had not, hold on, Skip. Had Kevin Durant not missed his last 5 shots, had Draymond not had 3 turnovers, had Klay Thompson not got posterized by 49-year-old Richard Jefferson, I would have gladly given it back to you.
I got robbed. You need to give it back.
But, Uncle-
you owe me an apology, but you're not going to give me one. It's
but, Uncle-
okay. It's okay. I expect.
Let me ask,
I expect
can I
better.
ask you a question,
I accept
Skip?
it.
Can I ask you a question? Name an NBA all-time great, say in the last 25, 30 years, that played with a guy that was a legit, great, all-time great player, had a sidekick like Kyrie Irving.
Who's had one?
Yes. Maybe Shaq with Kobe?
Yeah. Sure.
Not Michael Jordan, not Larry
No.
Bird.
No.
No. Kyrie Irving can get buckets. See, you look, because people forget how good Kyrie is, because when LeBron wasn't there, we saw him get Anthony Bennett, #1 overall pick. We saw him get Wiggins, #1 overall
You're
pick.
missing
Skip's
the
always
point.
saying that Kyrie is great.
I'm telling you that it's now LeBron is the sidekick. That's what you're
You
missing.
crazy.
He's the sidekick.
You called them the twins.
Won the twins. They won the twins.
So if they're twins,
He
it's the
al-
same, right?
No. But see, one of them only did water. You know, one of them only do iceberg, he'd do ice cubes, or he'd do water. The other one could be an eagle, could be a bear. Skip, you know
I don't know this cartoon.
Don't
I
worry.
don't know it. I
got
know Scooby-Doo, but I don't know that one.
Well, we know
after
that
the game-
Shannon was at the game and you were the Scooby-Doo villain.
Scooby-Doo villain.
Disguised as the referee.
You know what I was, Skip? You right. Because when they started coming back, when LeBron dunked that ball, I said, roll, roll.
You did?
No mercy. The Lions host the Packers on Sunday night. The winner will clinch the NFC North title. Detroit has lost 2 games in a row, including last night's loss to Dallas. The Packers have won 5 straight and beat the Lions back in Week 3. We're joined by Eric Mangini and Rob Parker. Welcome, guys.
What's happening? Eric, what's going on? Merry Christmas.
It's like the gift that keeps on giving.
It really is.
Didn't you guys just walk in together?
You know?
You act like you hadn't seen him in a month.
Guys, it's not been that long. Rob, what shot do you give Detroit against Green Bay on Sunday?
You laughing already?
Yes, because I feel like I know where you're going to go with this. But
No,
you may
no,
surprise
you
me.
don't. Skip, can you ask me if the Lions will make the playoffs?
Oh, I know where we're going. Can I answer? No way.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Ask the question for me.
Rob Parker, will the Lions make the playoffs?
Not this year. It ain't happening. I'll give them
That's an old joke.
What was that?
Really old joke.
a 5% chance of them making it. I'm giving them 5%, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, and Shannon, to you, I give Lions fans credit because they are very, very faithful and loyal. Yeah. But I got to say this, and last night was a perfect example. I'm not going to use the glasses for effect.
The real glasses?
The real glasses. But the Lions fans have been had, took, hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, okay? And here we go again. The Lions have beaten one team with a record over 500, and that was Washington. It's fraudulent, Skip. It always has been. They can't beat good teams with good quarterbacks, and you saw it last night. The 2 biggest games the Lions have played the last 2 weeks, Matthew Stafford, no touchdowns. This coming week against Green Bay, it's a mismatch. Stafford, no touchdowns. Secondary's hurt, no Darius Slay. And then you're going to look at no running game. They're 31st in the league. They're not going to win this game, and they will not make the playoffs. Here we go again. I've been there. I've seen it. I've covered the Lions since 1993. I was there when Brett Favre threw that touchdown to your brother.
Yeah.
I was there when the Lions went 16-0. I was there when Matthew Stafford had the ball in Dallas with 2 minutes to go.
You mean Bird
Right?
16-0.
0-16, 0-16. And I was there when Stafford had the ball in Dallas with 2 minutes in the playoff game and a couple of timeouts and went 4 and out. And I was there when Bill Buckner's, the ball went through his legs in that game, too. I'm getting ahead of myself.
I was,
Yeah, I'm just
that
getting
didn't
crazy.
apply, but
It
it's
didn't
okay.
apply, but
It's okay.
I was blaming the Lions for
Okay, I
it. But
got
my
it.
point is
Yeah.
that I've seen this movie. I'm not shocked what happened last night. Even when they played well in the first half, they will not, N-O-T, beat the Packers.
But you did give them 5% chance.
Yeah, because anything could happen where,
So they give them a 1% chance.
okay, 1%. I'm just saying there's a shot.
Okay.
Could you please bring us back to reality?
Well, I'm excited that you got a thesaurus for
Is
Christmas.
that right? Thank
That's
you.
Very, very nice that someone helped you with all those words. That's good. I was there in '97 when Barry Sanders had a really good second half against us. We were with the Jets, and then they went to the playoffs. So I don't think just because you've been through some trying times there, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what the future holds. And this is what I'll say about Detroit. Look, they lost to 2 really good teams last 2 weeks. They're playing Green Bay at home, where they're 6-1. Okay, so Detroit's 6-1 at home. They played really well at home.
Who have they beaten, Eric?
For most of this, we're going to go back to that again. They beat the people that were on their schedule. That's who they beat. That's who they beat. And just like this is the next game that's on their schedule. So granted, Green Bay's coming in hot. Detroit's having some problems or had some problems the last couple games against very good teams, but they're playing at home for everything. So this is it. This is the first round of the playoffs. And then defensively, they've played really good defense through a lot of the season. The 2 months of holding teams for under 20 points, that's pretty impressive. That's hard to do. So the idea of them only having a 1% or 5% or whatever percent you put based on your card and your words.
0.05 now.
Yeah, I think this game is about as even as you can get.
I like that.
It's simple as this for me. Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford. Aaron Rodgers.
That's a toss-up.
I should toss you out of the If I had the authority, I would toss you out of the building for saying that.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is 12-3 against the Lions. And it comes down, they're the hotter team. Their quarterback is better. He's playing better. He's all-time great. And if you look at their defense the last couple of weeks, they're generating turnovers, and Clay Matthews is starting to look like the Clay Matthews Jr. His dad played against his dad. Clay Matthews Jr. is looking like the old Clay Matthews Jr. And with that, I say they're going to win by 10 points. I know everything's on the line. It's a division game. It's a rivalry game. They'll win this game by 10. I got the Pack.
And I am with Coach Mangini. I give Detroit a good shot to win this game at home, where they are 6-1. And by the way, Green Bay is 3-4 on the road. They have struggled. They won at Jacksonville as the opener a long time ago. I know that season didn't count for Aaron Rodgers, those first 10 games, but they won by 4 there. They won at Philly. They won at Chicago by 3. And I'm not overly impressed with that road record, Rob Parker. And it's going to come down to this. Theo Riddick did not play last night. A lot of people probably don't know Theo Riddick. I don't know if you've watched him closely, but
yes.
He is the spark plug of that offense. He can run it, and he can really catch it out of the backfield. He's as deadly coming out of the backfield catching as anybody I see playing.
But Skip, the thing that you will refuse to acknowledge is that they don't beat good teams with good quarterbacks. That's just a fact.
But
when you want to look at numbers and look at Matthew Stafford against those teams, they don't win.
They went to New Orleans when New Orleans was riding pretty high earlier this year and won by 2 touchdowns. I thought it was impressive. I was impressed.
But New Orleans is a sub-500 team.
At home, they're pretty tough to beat at home.
Yeah.
Do they have a good quarterback?
Yeah, I think they have a good quarterback. Drew Brees,
New Orleans
Did he play good that day? He was
terrible.
terrible.
So they don't beat teams with good quarterbacks that don't play well on the day.
No, that's
and there's a 5% chance that we'll all be bamboozled
and
hoodwinked and let us run amok.
And you know what? I am not hoodwinked by one Darius Slay. He can play. He's a top 5 corner this year. Every time I looked up while he was healthy, he was making a play as he did on the last game against that guy. Who's that guy in Philly that we put in the Hall of Fame? Or you put in the Hall of Fame? Oh, Carson Wentz. Yeah. Remember, he picked off the last pass of that game. Darius
Is he going to play Sunday?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Those two they're iffy on Sunday, but if they can't, they might have been saving them last night for Sunday. It smacked of that to me. Like, they didn't have to win last night.
Why didn't they not have to win?
Well, I'm just saying they
They
knew
had to win. That game meant something to them. Had they won that game,
I got it.
It would have put pressure on Washington.
Okay.
And now they have to ask somebody
Did they
else
have to win that game to make the playoffs? No, they did not.
Yeah, but
could they win the division on Sunday at home? Yes,
could they
can.
lose the division on Sunday at home and not even make the playoffs after leading the NFC North the whole year?
That's fine. But all the money's on the table at home. And how good has Matthew Stafford been without Megatron this year? You have to admit.
I don't know. The 2 biggest games of the year, Skippy, has 0 touchdowns against the Giants and against the Cowboys.
Yep.
That's prime time. You got to show up for those games.
We see him reverting back to those bad mechanics.
You saw that
there was
bad
no reason
interception he
for him
threw?
to roll to his left and throw. It's 2nd and 21. And coaches Mike Shanahan, when I was at Denver, you always say, son, don't make a bad play worse. If you do something wrong, don't exacerbate the situation. It's 2nd and 21. You're rolling to your left. Don't throw back across your body. At worst case, let's come back 3rd and 21.
Let's give credit where it is due. Who made a really good play
that
on?
wasn't-
Wait,
No, that wasn't.
Time out. Could we see this, please? Oh, wait a second. Who is that who just made a great play? Wait, was that Brandon Yu's car? Is that possible?
We're talking about
Is
the
that
Lions.
possible? Wait, the guy that you have dismissed as a cornerback, did he actually make a play?
He threw in traffic.
To Shannon's point, I completely agree. You don't want to make a bad play worse, but he's made a lot of good plays on the run. And look, some of those decisions don't work out like they didn't last night, but he's had a lot of those decisions that have worked out. And Brandon Carr made a nice play, but
pretty good.
It wasn't, we're not like throwing it up on the top 10
you know
for
what?
the day.
He just kills him and dismisses him. He's having a really good year.
What about
overall?
What about
overall?
Odell? What about Odell?
What about Odell?
What Odell do to him?
But you got to have a little safety help on the play. It wasn't his fault.
What?
And you know what?
Church
Odell
was in
said
church.
after the game, nobody chased him better than Brandon Carr. He said, I had to take it up to the limit to make Dow run it.
Because in the NFL, nobody wants to be on the highlight chasing somebody into the end zone. Because that will make the top 10. You know that. Hey, because on Saturday night when when you win the game and you show in previous highlights, guess what they ended with, Skip?
Yeah, Odell caught 4 balls that game.
Brandon Carr looking like rerun chasing the truck. And what's happening now?
What's happening now? Wow.
Skip.
Detroit has played good football all year long. I'll do it on Friday.
Okay.
I'll do it on Friday.
All right, and I want
right.
Skip, I want a big steak dinner. I'm so confident.
Wait, how many you owe me now? 12? So, wait, we could do all 12 in one bet?
Does he pay off
wanna do
any
that?
bets? At least I pay
If
off
I
my
have
bet.
paid off.
You do?
I got,
You pay them and then you take them back.
I bought
Took
your
them all
whole
back.
case.
You didn't buy them. The show bought them.
No, I bought
Yes,
that.
you did. That was all for show.
No, Skip.
Come on.
I paid out of my pocket. I tell you what,
I'm
you know
not
what?
buying it.
This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Thanks for listening, everybody. That's all for us today. Come back and catch us tomorrow when we're joined once again by Rob Parker and Eric Mangini to look ahead for the final week in the NFL regular season.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.